mean, I don't want to sound shady or anything, even though I did do it on purpose. But, let me tell you what. See, my parents, they've done the whole comedy show thing. They've been to a comedy show. About 2 years ago, my parents went to the Axis of Evil tour, which is, if none of you or any of you aren't familiar with it, it is a show where some Arab comedians go around the country and they perform, and it's just awesome. It's awesome. Maysoon is in it, Dean is in it, Dean, Abdullah, and Ahmed, which, let me remind you, Ahmed is coming to Case next week, 1 week from today. Okay, and just letting you guys know. Okay, so, where was I? So yeah, my parents went to the Axis of Evil tour, and I remember this because, I was there to see them off, so they left. And about an hour later, they came back. And as they walked in, I was like, wait a second, it's only been an hour. What are you doing here? And my dad looked at me, he's like, they were sweating. And I was like, they were swearing? What? And my mom looked at me, she's like, yeah, they were swearing. And then I was like, okay, that's not normal for a comedy show. So I spent about 10 minutes explaining to them about the whole environment of a comedy show and how swearing is really not big of a deal. Don't look at them as bad words, just look at them as sentence enhancers. It's SpongeBob so eloquently put it. Not that I watched that. Anyways, so yeah, they came back, and then they spent about an hour and a half. They then sat down and they spent about an hour and a half lecturing me about how I'm becoming too Americanized and how I need to start praying 5 times a day and that Muslims don't swear apparently, and that's cool and everything. And yeah, so and I don't know how much longer later, which was our first show with Dean, with the Can't Arabs Be Funny, with Dean and Sharif, which was a hit. It was so funny. And I was pumped because, I was going to have a blast that night. Oh my God, I was sitting next to my cousins, and then my mom called me. She says, Dino, we're outside. I'm like, great. She said, come get us. So I went outside. And I walked them in, I sat in their seats, and then, I was about to walk back to my cousins, and then my mom looked at me, she's like, Dino, sit with us. What? No! And then she's like, no, sit with us. I was like, why? And she looked at me, she said, because I want to sit next to my son. Is that so much to ask? I was like, but I want to go sit with my God. And she said, and then I looked at her and I was like, plus my stuff is already over there. She's like, can't you go get it? Is that big a deal? I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have canes, thanks to you. So I went and got my stuff and I sat next to them. Dude, I didn't laugh once. Not once. Dude, have you guys ever heard or seen those British guys that stand in front of whatever building and they just have no emotion in their face? I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. But dude, oh my God, and that is even an understatement for that. Every time Dean or Sharif said something funny, I looked to the side. And the other side. Nothing. Not even a smirk. Oh my God, it sucked. It was so sad. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. So, I was explaining to one of my siblings, a sibling of mine that I will not mention, and they were completely understanding of the whole situation, and that's cool and everything. And after I got finished telling her why I didn't tell them, and I was planning on telling them, but probably the day of the comedy show, this comedy show going on, come on. That's about it. And So yeah, that was the plan. But after